Tell me, how long were you and Emily married?
We were married for 6 years, but we've been together for 10 years.
And would you say it was a happy marriage?
I'm not gonna lie, we've had us good times, and we've had us bad times. More recently though, we argued a lot about my work. She thought I worked too many hours, but I think she was depressed because she was always down.
We have no evidence to show that your wife was depressed, Mr. Johnson. Tell me, how many hours were you working?
Between 60 and 80 hours a week.
Surely you can't expect me to believe that having sex with your boss was considered work.
What?
Objection. She is trying to diminish my client's character with lies.
Are you going somewhere with this?
Of course.
Well, stop making statements without the evidence to prove it.
I do have the proof. Mr. Johnson's phone records and text messages clearly show that he was having an affair with his boss, Natasha Miller. Would that be fair to say, Mr. Johnson?
That doesn't prove I murdered my wife.
Answer the question, Mr. Johnson.
That's right. I guess our relationship was a mess. And when Natasha showed me interest, it was hard to refuse.
So, the only witness to your alibi is the woman you were cheating with behind your murdered wife's back. Is that right?
That's correct. But I didn't murder her. I still love her deep down.
But you were cheating on her. What kind of so-called man does that? Tell me what happened on the morning of the incident.
We argued. I know her neighbour Maureen witnessed the noise.
What was it about?
She didn't want me to go to work. She was convinced I was having an affair.
So she was right about you and you made her feel like an idiot.
Objection. There is no evidence to suggest Mrs. Johnson was made to feel like an idiot.
Sustained.
Tell me, did you talk to your wife between leaving the house and the incident?
Yes, she called me, crying her eyes out. I told her I had enough, and that I was going to leave her. Just to scare her.
The autopsy report states that Emily died around 1:30 p.m. with a stab wound to the chest. You were conveniently on lunch with Natasha around 1 p.m, which no other witness can back up. You then claim that you went home, you couldn't gain access, and after breaking in, you found your wife bleeding on the floor after, in your words, committing suicide. So tell me, how your fingerprints ended up on the knife that killed her?
I just seen it. I picked it up and I threw it away. I couldn't bear it near us.
Oh. Sudden feelings for a woman you were cheating on. I'm not buying it.
She was difficult sometimes, yeah. But she gave me my children. The best things in my whole world. I could never hurt her.
So why not try and help her? Call an ambulance. Instead, she laid dying on the floor. You could have done something, but why would her killer help her?
I'm not a killer. It wasn't me. You've got to believe me. It wasn't me.
Forensic evidence show your fingerprints on the knife that killed her, and you have no legitimate alibi. I believe that Mr. Johnson drove home from work after an argument on the phone with his wife. Things got out of hand and he killed her in cold blood. There is no evidence to show that his wife was suicidal. She had 2 beautiful children, which he doted on. Alan Johnson is a murderer and should be found guilty as charged. No further questions.
My job is to summarise the events, and it is your job as the jury to decide whether you believe Alan Johnson's evidence. Alan pleads not guilty. He says he loves his wife very much, but admits his relationship was becoming increasingly difficult, and he was having an affair. He also told us he worked all the hours he could to provide for his family. He told us his wife was depressed and believed she was going to kill herself. But there is no evidence to prove that Emily was depressed. On the day of his wife's death, Alan went to work and came home in his lunch break to find his wife dying. The prosecution says that Alan was playing away and having an affair with his boss. He murdered his wife in his lunch break. The main evidence are his fingerprints on the murder weapon and his motive, an affair. Members of the jury, you can now retire and consider your verdict.